The time has come, ladies and gentlemen, for the grand finals of the World Championship Series final circuit event of the year. The only two people good enough to take the big championships must now fight in a brutal cage match to determine the last victor before BlizzCon. Kicking things off in the southeast of Acropolis, we have the Blue Zerg, the Italian Stallion. He's Reynor. I've seen this before, but goodness, these games always end up being pretty weird, Todd. Those corruptors are quite tanky. Their base damage, even though they don't do bonus to mutas, is still solid. So Reynor gets a little bit of free reign until those corruptors come out. And with that high armor, they can bully those mutas away.
I can overwhelm you on the ground with just roaches.
I don't hate the idea of that. Serral did time this out, that his +2 to be finishing soon, but his roaches are going to get surrounded in the middle of the map. Those corruptors really need to push the mutas away, or they're going to be able to help kill those roaches. The Zerglings with +1 melee from Reynor, one of the options that he does like quite a bit, allows those lings to do some damage to the roaches, but it really comes down to those. Of course, in a world where somehow these corruptors were in large enough numbers to beat the mutas, caustic spray comes into play, but these corruptors are just here so that the roaches can get into the third, get into the natural, and already Serral trying to get that early damage done. Spine crawlers are being added for Reynor, but they're not going to be done in time. And Reynor realizing, okay, I need to bring those mutas
Look
back.
at the army supply.
It's not looking all that good for Reynor. Those mutas are going to be able to start fighting the roaches once the corruptors are gone. But will it have been too late? So far, 14 drones have been picked off, but Reynor's still sitting not too far behind just yet. As long as Serral can continue to focus down those drones, though, these roaches will have more than done what they've needed to do, Todd.
Yeah, Serral is overwhelming him. That plan went so well. He microed perfectly with the corruptors, pulling them back just right outside of the range of the mutalisks. And now
there's
he's
something very
killed so
slow.
much. The march of the queens.
There's something very slow on the mini-map, Todd.
They've almost reached the speed zone here, but a lot of the ground army of Serral is gone. He's going to regroup with the roaches before engaging back into those mutalisks.
I'm not sure if this is enough queens. He's going to start to push this back. I guess what he wants to do is preoccupy him, or at least force him to engage into the queen so that the roaches can continue to run through. All of the anti-air is just fodder. It's a really weird thing to say, because killing a player who has a pretty sizable army supply that you can't engage seems like it would be impossible. Yet, here Serral is taking a massive lead in terms of that economy, continuing to blast away at the drone line, deal damage to the infrastructure, slow down the production by killing the queens. And Reynor,
now Serral kind of went back on the defensive with the corruptor massing on his side of the map.
He did kill the Spire, worth noting, so these corruptors are going to try and defend against this. But Reynor actually has +1 attacks, so those mutalisks are doing damage to the corruptors. They're actually able to punch through that 200 hit point, 2 armor default. And while the roaches can deal with the lings, you do want to make sure you don't lose all of those queens, because they are also an important component of defending against the mutas. Now, once that creep gets pushed away from the new expansion and you can't get spore crawlers over there, it's going to become a whole lot harder to push those mutalisks off of the expansion.
Yeah, Reynor's going to be forced back here. He's going to start producing some roaches. He's going for +2 melee. But Serral already has +2 missile. Reynor does have a lot of mobility here, thanks to all those Zerglings, and he's going to go for the snipe on the hatchery. He gets it. This is like the ZVZ version of Corsair DT, Corruptor Roach.
Yeah, it's a weird game that it's really odd. Oh man, I feel like there was a period of time where we had quite a few players going Corruptors in ZVZ to deal with mutas, but I feel like I haven't seen it all that recently, to my wonderful.
All right, Serral's going for it again.
Yeah, and there are a lot of Corruptors here. They are going to worry about the overkill a little bit more than the mutalisks will in this situation, but really it's all about the body blocking. The corruptors are here. They're using their taunt right now, Todd. They're trying to pull all the mutalisks' attention over so that these roaches can rip apart the infrastructure, and he's going to kill the Spire once again, right as that +1 carapace finishes. Unfortunately, it's going to happen around the time that these corruptors are in too low numbers to really take advantage of it, but I don't think that that's going to be the last we'll see of it.
Oh my
Reynor
God.
playing a very intriguing style of ZVZ, sans roaches.
And he's finally going to transition. Hydra is dead. He hasn't remade the Spire. And honestly, we talked about it on the desk. You know, it's ZVZ upgrades, where Serral already has +2 attack. And Serral is just going for burrow and getting more units right now. Still trying to be aggressive around that natural base. This is the 3rd bridge.
And this is a problem, though. Reynor's really starting to make something happen. These Zerglings are going for the counterattacks, but that big switch into the Hydras Todd, Corruptors are cool against Mutas. It's like a neat thing you can do, but they're not going to be able to deal with the Ling Hydra that's coming out on the map. For Reynor, he's able to get onto these roaches. He's starting to clean this up. There's the Caustic Spray. That's all he can do with the Corruptors now.
The entire map is blinking. There's action everywhere. The lair gets sniped inside of the main base of Serral, and the attack on the other side of the ground was shut down, but so many Corruptors are left over, and he kills the hatchery in that location. This is absolute chaos.
Yeah, he did pick off one of the tech buildings. Well, I believe he got the lurker den there. I'm not entirely sure.
Reynor's just going to siege that fourth base, and if he can burrow those lurkers before Serral is there, I mean,
how are you
he just has that many Corruptors. Like,
how do you unseat this? He's got so many. He has 40 supply of Corruptors. So you look at the army supply, yeah, he has more, but it's a lie, Todd. Yeah. The supply is lying.
Serral, he needs to find a way to defend that attack across the map. He's set up on the high ground here. Lurkers are going to try to edge forward slowly. Reynor, a lot of his important army here is dying. And on the other side, he's trying to resaturate his bases. He's actually mining quite a bit more than Serral right now. Does he need to play this aggressive? It feels like he can maybe finish the game. He smells blood. Yeah, that's going to fall so fast.
You ever
oh my
seen
God.
one of those videos where they put a can of soda on a car? That's the paint. It's the paint coming off the hatchery right now as these Roach Ravagers also going to simultaneously hit the top base. The damage output from the Corruptors is huge.
He's going for the main base now. How are you supposed to defend? You need to have the Hydralisk around the fourth base, but
oh my God,
even the Overlords can die so quick.
It's the old meme, mass Viking strategy. Kill all their Overlords. How are they going to build units? No, seriously, he's supply blocked now. It's going to be a problem. But he is building 10 lurkers. He got those started before the supply block. And that leaves us with an important question, Todd. How are you going to kill 10 lurkers?
Corrosive Bile, I guess, has got to be the way here for him.
That's his only option.
Reynor's going to counterattack knowing that all of the units of Serral are out on the map. So if these lurkers actually burrow inside of one of his bases, he's going to be completely shut down with the mining and the production. Serral actually really trying to break that position here. He has an overseer. He jumps on top of a lot of those lurkers and takes them out. He's forcing Reynor to come back to that base to try and save it. The Corruptors, they don't even know where to go right now. They're just kind of flying back on the other side of the map.
I do believe that Reynor got adaptive talents, so those lurkers are going to burrow damn near instantly, making it extremely difficult to outposition Reynor with these roaches. We see he's already been caught off guard. He's been boxed in, and he says, okay, we're going to hide underground? Cool. So will I.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think an overseer is going to be on the way here in a second, but Serral, knowing about this, says, well, you want to hunt down those units? I'm going to get on top of your bases that are mining and take them out. There's only Lynx here trying to defend against these roaches. Caustic Spray takes out the natural hatchery, and he's now going for the production buildings.
That's right, and Serral also saying, where are your overlords? He's going to supply block him. He's sending that supply to the Shadow Realm right now, Todd. He won't be able to build anything for quite some time. Those overlords not cheap to replace anymore. He does get the units on the top side, but
he's bringing him into negative supply.
It's not a fun place to be. Those overlords, we're in a scrappy situation. Reynor has all this gas because he has to spend every mineral on overlords. That's it. That's all he can do.
What a crazy game.
He's broke, and as the money comes in, it's just overlords. He's just slamming down the overlord key.
Resources lost, still very, very close. Supply still pretty even. 75 army to 61. Corruptors kill one more base, and Reynor is going for a massive siege here on that one base of Serral, he's barely mining anymore. Like, there's no minerals left here. He's just going to long distance mine from elsewhere. Overlord still going extinct here almost in this game.
The problem, though, how does he kill all of these lurkers?
It's a base trade, I think. They're just...
Yeah, I think that's his only option. He can't fight the lurkers. He's going to bring the lurkers home to try and defend, and he's like, well, the Hydras will kill everything over here, so...
Ooh.
He wants to send his ground army home to kill the Hydras and have it only be lurkers available so that he can try to maybe do...
Yeah, Corrosive Bite can kill lurkers, but...
I like this. He's actually going to try to just kill every single building.
God.
I mean, the Corruptor, once it's doing its spray, censored word, for like 7 seconds, it goes up to 34 DPS.
Serral doesn't have many buildings left.
He's got drones out and minerals for an extractor. So that's what he's trying to do. He's literally trying...
He doesn't have enough minerals for a hatchery, though.
The Caustic Spray base race. I can't believe... You know what? My favorite StarCraft caster line is, I've never seen this before, and I get to say it again. 10 years down the road, I have never seen anything like this. He's using that ability, the channeled Corruptor attack, to literally try... He says, I cannot kill your units because Corruptors don't shoot down, So I am just going to spray down all of your structures and hope that I can do it before you can kill me.
Serral doesn't have a hatchery, so every single one of these extractors that he has out on the map are revealed right now. So Reynor, all he has to do is go from one to another, and I think he's going to be able to kill Serral before Serral can kill him. Serral really going on the offensive right now. Reynor, some of your units are not attacking. You need to be a little bit quicker with this.
Yeah, what an insane turn of events. These corruptors are here. I don't know. Does Reynor have drones? Oh, he has one in the bottom left.
Can we have a look at the structure tab? Oh my God, Serral has 2 extractor left.
Now, keep in mind...
3. Okay, that's some in the production, so 4 right now. Yeah, but that's about it.
The thing is, the buildings, once you start to build an extractor in this situation, the extractor is immediately revealed while under construction. So you have to keep, while you're doing this, you have to be very careful to dance around it and keep a drone that isn't building one far away from everything else.
That's it, Nathanas. These are his last few extractors down there. I don't think that Serral can kill Reynor before Reynor will kill him. So he's trying to fight the army right now. I think he realized he was going to get eliminated if he didn't play it like this. He's trying to cover his army. He's trying to trap these lurkers, but Reynor sees it.
Oh, no. Okay, well, Reynor does not have detection, but yes, your army is burrowed and safe.
2 extractors left.
How are you going to kill his buildings if you're burrowed hiding? Okay, well, he's going back over towards the structures. I think there's too many buildings. There's not enough time for Serral to kill all of the infrastructure, especially since the corruptors don't really want to do that to the spores.
Yeah, Reynor splits his units perfectly to try and get on top of this army with the lurkers. Serral running out of forces here. Still trying to make stuff happen with the corruptors.
The last 2. GG, Reynor does it. Wins by... Thank God for that. We are loaded in to game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, leading the series with that first map win in the northeast of World of Sleep. Caustic sprayed with that base was the lurker den that died very quickly, and he had to rebuild it, and that was when he got the 10 more lurkers. So Serral was even aware of that, but couldn't take advantage of it in the way that he wanted to. But Reynor in this game, he is pocketing a lot of Zerglings. He does not want Serral to see them. What he wants Serral to see is, hey, look at me, my drone's mining the minerals. I'm gonna take a base.
Oh, and I think Serral might have gotten a whiff of this. He saw a drone mining from those minerals there. He's trying to poke, he's trying to see how many Zerglings there are. And look, he went for his own Baneling nest. He's getting a bunch of links, mixing in some of those here with the drones that he's making on his side of the map. He's making a ton of links right now. He's seeing this coming. Serral needs to get ready for the defense here. Reynor committing a lot to this. 17 walkers to 36. This has to do a lot of damage there.
Yeah, this is a really important moment. The Baneling nest is going to be in for Serral. Reynor is just going for a straight-up pure link flood. He actually does find a little bit of a hole to get some of these Zerglings through, and he has so many. Once they can get this around, this is going to get really dangerous for Serral. The Banelings are not ready yet on the bottom of the natural expansion ramp, but some of the Zerglings able to get inside of the main base. The drones are under fire. Remember, Serral has currently double the worker count of his opponent. If he can just hold this attack off, he's going to be in a phenomenal position. But Reynor, can he target down those Banelings? Gets rid of one of them. He just needs to pick these off. The link count still should be heavily in his favor, but 1 or 2 good Baneling connections could save everything for Serral.
Yeah, Reynor doing such a good job negating the damage from these Banelings. He danced all around them, sacrificed the minimum amount of Zerglings here to make sure. Finally a big detonation, but there's still more links where that came from. 17 walkers to 29, and Reynor is committing everything he has to this. Only Zerglings in the production tab. He hasn't gone back into drones just yet. He needs to do more damage.
There's something else worth noting here, Todd. If Serral can hold on, that +1 melee is about to finish. His Zerglings, he may not have as many, but they are going to be so much more powerful. Reynor taps out. Serral takes game number 2 after a phenomenal hold against that link flood. Really like how Reynor tried to sell something. You talked about it. You got to Titans of the world will move on and take the lead in this best of 7. In the top left position, spawning as the blue Zerg player. He is the lack of gas being mined by Reynor, which says to me he wants to get that creep out and try to wall off this giant ramp. John Thunderbird, many people do like to do in all matchups now. It became a little bit more of a thing towards the end of last season, and since Thunderbird is still around in this season of WCS, it has been it's been a popular choice. Not that we've had a crazy amount of ZVZs at this tournament, which is really weird to say since it's the circuit, but I'm not too surprised to see it, even though we haven't had a whole bunch of examples recently of it happening.
Yeah, Terran's actually a pretty good showing.
I think this, I was going to say, it's one of the more diverse in terms of the cast and crew that made it into the top 16 for this tournament than we usually do have at WCS, which is another reason why this has been one of the better events. Of course, when you opt to do something like this, if Zerglings do get inside, well, They move pretty quick, and you're not going to have an easy time being able to get them out of your base. So Serral will be able to get a full read on everything. If he was secretly mining gas and trying to make it like a double bluff, it would have been sniffed out. So Serral gets to say to himself, okay, you're being extremely greedy. You don't have any gas. I can be a bit greedy now. The follow-up, however, is going to be roaches because that's going to build into the wall very nicely. And Reynor is taking the extractors in the actual natural.
Reynor not having link speed makes this so annoying. Like, these links just keep going around. They're sniping one drone at a time, and they're really taking a lot of the attention of Reynor away, whereas all Serral had to do was, you know, kind of just shift around the movement and then eventually go for some of the drones here of Reynor. Now we see +1 missile attack starting from Serral. Roach Warren, Lair is on the way. He's ready to go into that pig's favorite, the roach phase.
I mean, the only reason why he actually wasn't here to cast the finals instead of me is because they were scared of how loudly he might say roaches when they got all over each other.
If you want to, you can go into Hive, you know, get +3 missile attack, upgrades.
The tail end of that, by the way, I believe as the Overseer exited towards the northeast, he totally saw the Spire. He's got a bunch of Spore Crawlers on the way. Hydras are coming out. He's getting grooved spines, so those Hydralisks are going to get that range upgrade, very important for a situation such as this. And the mutant count is not at some insurmountable number yet that he can't really push away. So that is going to change, but so will the Hydralisk count. Things will get a little bit easier for Serral. He's going to run the Overseer through once more. Seeing that Lurker Den start, very important to know. Says, hey, okay, this is maybe not going to be big mutas like it was the previous game. Or game one, excuse me.
It makes me really happy to see Serral put so much effort into scouting. I really feel like there's, you know, some of the greatest Zergs out there for a long time. They were extremely good, but maybe not always the most consistent with that scouting. And it really feels like he's identified that, like, one of the only way he could lose a game like this is if somewhere in the game he misses one of the transition happening and then gets surprised by it. So he's trying to cover all of his bases, goes for the scout, always tries to see everything that the opponent's doing. And if that happens, if it's a game of mechanics and who's playing better with the micro positioning, engagement and all that, he thinks he's going to have an upper hand, and he very well might be right.
We got a big number of roaches and hydras trying to move across the map. Serral would love to make a push happen before lurkers are a factor in this game.
Look at the army supply, 131 to 100 right now. He's going to get on top of this army of Reynor. Reynor, his wall is blocking him outside of it. If he tries to go inside, he'd be cornered.
He actually can't micro, and his +2 attack is not yet ready, so a full upgrade down there, and Serral's Roach Hydra just absolutely obliterating the defenses of our Italian Zerg. There is nothing here to stop this force. He's trying to rebuild his army, but Johan, it's too little, too late. GG's. First blood was drawn, but can any more be extracted from this monster?
All of these for a drop of blood.
By our Blue Zerg player in the southeast of Disco Bloodbath with that infested Terran emote. He is Reynor! He faces off against this man, denied him that undefeated championship, replies with the poo emoji. He is Serral!
Good chance.
Yeah, it's a really difficult position to be in because Serral is a player that is constantly learning. I mean, we talk about Alpha Star trying to figure the game out and talk about how a player learns StarCraft. Serral's got to be the prime example. He makes all these adjustments. He has all these little ideas, and he's seen early hatcheries a few times now in this series if it wasn't a cheese coming in. So these lings swing around pretty early. And this is not the type of deny that should be possible, yet here we are. There's a cancel. Serral has a third base building, by the way, but Todd, he's not building drones.
16 links. He might be choosing to try and go on the aggressive here because he was able to get a cancel. Some of those are probably going to be morphed into Banelings. Reynor has to be looking everywhere at the same time.
Reynor only has so many links to try and defend against this with. The links do get inside. 3 drones picked off inside of the main base. Now, Serral did get a Baneling nest, but he's prioritizing the +1 missile attack because he's already thinking 10 steps ahead. Does he even have a Roach Horn? He's like, no, this upgrade. He's like, look, I'll need it in the future. It's going to be fun. It's an important tool that we'll use later.
Investment.
Yeah, exactly. So with this third base being done, he doesn't really need to commit to aggression. And what he could be doing is just putting that pressure on Reynor where he tries to make a big attack, but then the roaches are already out with that +1.
However, I guess I am interested to see when he's going to get that. Baneling comes out, gets some of those lings blown up, and Serral has more lings to use to defend. The benefit of the hatchery being done earlier, of course, is access to larva and a little bit of that creep.
Oh, those banelings. Let's see if anybody can get decent connections here.
He's going to kill, actually, a few of Serral's drones. It's,
yeah.
That's quite nice for Reynor, considering the blow he took earlier. He is still down a handful.
And Reynor's making a ton of lings right now. He's morphing banelings. He's got +1 melee on the way. Whereas for Serral, we've got the roach run on the way, but I think he fully realized that there were units headed on his side of the map, so he's getting a ton of links. He's adding more queens, trying to hold on right now. Nice target fire on those queens on the banelings.
Now, this is going to be really awkward because, as you mentioned, the roach horn is finishing now, and +1 missile attacks is going to be pretty close, but Reynor is also getting +1 for his Zerglings, that +1 melee. And those lings are going to be much more effective against the roaches, but I do think that in this early stage, the +1 range for the roaches to two-shot the lings is going to more than help make up and overcome the fact that the lings themselves will be able to chip away at those roaches a little bit faster. Now, if he is able to win a big fight, +1 lings, he's not going to be able to rely on Zerglings of his own. Everything comes down to the roaches in a situation like this as Reynor continues to apply pressure on that third. Banelings trading out. Big detonation, I think that was for Serral.
Yeah.
Quite a few Zerglings died by that third, and all of a sudden, you slam the drone key, Todd.
That was so well done, by the way, by Serral. Like, he knew that the attack on the right-hand side of the third base was not the whole picture, so he stood around the wall at his natural, where Reynor was trying to sneak in. And he was like, nope, not today.
Very intelligent.
In fact, I invented this, so that's not
I
going to work.
literally just did this to you at the start of the game, bro. You're trying to use my own strats against me? He says no, and that's some of that skill. So look at this. I was gonna say a lair and a fourth base, just a pretty late lair, pretty early fourth for Reynor, but the Nidus network, Todd, he is thinking about bringing an end to this game. And there you go, the ultimate dinosaur death scream of the Nidus bursting outside of that third base of Reynor. Meanwhile, another one building inside of his main base. Perhaps some of those units can head back, and he's going to be able to hit multiple bases at once. Reynor wants to counterattack, but it's not necessarily the defense that Serral's worried about. It's all about that offense. He's going to get into the main. He did start a Spire Reynor in that main, so that could also be picked off in this phase. He may not be able to rely on trying to get to some cheeky Mutalisks to save himself.
It's a disaster. Reynor had to abandon the main base. Yeah, the Spire is even there on the right side.
The main is completely killed. These roaches blocking the door to the natural. The banelings are there, blowing up a huge chunk of those lings. Serral taking absolute dominance in game number 4. I don't see how he can be stopped here, Todd. There's just too many roaches. He has upgrades on those lings, but once that spawning pool dies, he's not going to be able to produce any more. He still has the worm outside of the third, so he's just going to rotate in that direction. All he can do is build roaches that are worse than Serral's. This third base is going to get blasted down. Doubling in army supply is the Finnish Phenom cracking onto this base. Worms erupting all over. Disco Bloodbath. GG!
Definitely got all the momentum in the world right now in these grand finals. He really turned it back on.
Saturation, almost half saturation on it, so this might be, I mean, you could try to time it with roach speed, but Reynor's also moving straight into there, so it's kind of like both players have figured out that they're just going to go straight to the roach phase of ZVZ, but it has never really been that simple, Todd. They always go for some other tech after the lair. It hasn't just been roach on roach on roach. One player's been going for that Spire or that Nidus, excuse me, or even that Hydralisk as we've already seen. So I'm curious if that's what's all it's going to boil down to. Maybe this is the classic ZVZ Roach Fiesta. We could get there. These lings trying to poke a little bit, looking for some ground. That Baneling very well controlled, very well protected in the pocket. But Serral's just getting roach speed and +1. So this might be, he may be looking to just do a really big roach attack.
Yeah, I think like when Serral plays this kind of style, and he just gets close to maxing out, you know, when he gets over like 140 supply, his biggest strength is his engagements. Presetting the concave before the fight, choosing which fights exactly he's going to attack and in what location, and kind of planning ahead yet again. He throws down the Nidus once more here. Serral going to go very heavily into fighting units here with the roaches, and with the +1 on the way, that's going to line up very well with when that Nidus finishes. But Reynor's making a ton of roaches himself on the other side of the map. And he has more workers. Well, so if he's able to catch up with those roach count and army supply, he's going to be fine.
There's a weird thing that happens here, though. The roach speed is going to be done so much faster. It gets a cancel on that expansion, too.
I noticed this, by the way. Like, Reynor went for pneumatized carapace. He made an overseer across the map. So this time, he really adjusted. He wanted to make sure he knew what he was up against. So he fully scouted this. He knows what's coming. He's getting some spine crawlers right now, trying to make as many units as he can. And I think Reynor, if he can hold down here against that first Nidus, he's going to be fine. He gets the cancel on it.
Now, here's the problem, though. Todd, he doesn't have roach speed. Reynor cannot actually run away with his roaches. All he can do is stand and deliver against the roaches of Serral. And while, yes, he did cancel that Nidus, he lost all of the roaches that he had out on the map. And as that next Nidus does pop, he's going to be able to pick off both spines before they finish. The one Ravager is not enough. Serral is going for the throat here in game number 5. More roaches coming out of the Nidus. He's got another one popping inside of the main base in the middle of all of this. And he's continuing to put that pressure on, bringing it forward. Cameraman's getting a little bit excited about the possible GG. Another spine trying to reposition on that third base. But there's just more roaches, Todd. Look at these supply.
I'm looking, and Reynor needs to regroup. He's got so few less forces in comparison. Nidus going up in the main base, still rallying across the map so fast with that one Nidus of his.
He's bringing out the drones to fight against the roaches. That's never a good sign. Reynor down on army supply, down on workers, and possibly now down again in the WCS final. GG! Serral has done it! One more time, one more trophy for the Finnish Phenom, your world champion, putting another one up on the mantle in glorious fashion. A beautiful end to this match. Decisive plays. Unshakable determination. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 WCS Fall Champion, Serral!
Congratulations, Serral. What an interesting matchup that was. Game 1. What an incredible ZVZ. That was one of the most intense matchups we've seen this entire tournament. Obviously, Reynor took the game. You found your momentum, though, after that victory in Game 2, and you just never looked back. What are your thoughts on this match?
I think it was a very interesting match. A lot of the games went very scrappy, and that's not exactly what I like, but I think I got the upper hand at the early game, or early stages of the scrappy always, so I don't know. Obviously very happy with the win, but at the same time, not my kind of games, for sure.
Got it. Now, as we look towards the future, towards the global finals, we know we're going to see you there. How are you going to spend the rest of your time preparing and getting equipped for that? Are you ready to take on the global title once more?
Well, obviously I'm trying to be ready at least. I don't think I need to do anything very specific, just basic practice and what I have been doing. It's been working pretty well, so I'll just keep going the same road.
Sounds like a great plan, my friend. All right, Montreal, let's give it up one more time for the WCS Full Circuit Champion, Serral! Oh, and tradition, 1 second, yes. Carrie's got it for you. Good luck, my friend. Good luck. The final boss. Yeah!